Cinematic Shuffle has shuffled once again. If you were around on my Twitter handle last week on Wednesday, you would have seen me give my weekly 3 riddles for what I would be reviewing this week, and they were incredibly weak riddles. But, what else do you really expect from such an iconic film all around? Nothing I could say would have been hard to guess, but the 3 riddles that I gave were 1, it was coming of age, 2, it came out in the 80s, and 3, you will not be afraid or shed a tear. Which, obviously, are the lyrics found in the Stand By Me song by Ben E. King. And of course, you guys figured it out right away. Jacob Martin, you figured it out first, and he was on it, saying that he loves that song and that was the dead giveaway for him. I could have said anything though. I could say Dead Body for hint 3, I could say Train, but everything that I could have said would have always been obvious. You would have always guessed Stand By Me. But yeah, 2 Stephen King adaptations back to back for Cinematic Shuffle. Who would have guessed? Let's get cracking. Stand By Me ultimately follows 4 boys on a little bit of a journey when one day they decide to head off and follow the train tracks to discover a dead body that they heard was laying around. On the way there, of course, they run into adventure after adventure and ride the themes of life, death, friendship, and what it all means. Before I go on with my review, remember to head over to my Twitter handle at IAMDWG, where I will be posting 3 more hints to what the next installment of the Cinematic Shuffle will be. And I usually do that sometime on Wednesday, hint hint, so head over there, follow me, and let's have some fun. Now, on to my review of Stand By Me. When it comes down to coming of age films, my critique of them is almost always the same. I don't care for them because there's not usually something to talk about. There's not really much plot, meaning that there's no goal. Nobody's usually trying to do anything in coming of age. Usually we just follow these characters as they go around town doing random things after random things while they learn important life lessons. That's pretty typical. That being said, I do use Stand By Me as an example of when coming of age can do something right. Because we're still following these boys on a journey of self-discovery and self-worth like we usually do. We watch them go from adventure to adventure. That is normal for coming of age. But there's also a plot. There's this overarching goal of trying to find this one thing, in this case, a dead body. But the plot of trying to find the dead body never takes away from the coming of age elements. So this is as close to perfection as you can possibly get for coming of age, and what's so silly is that it's so simple to achieve. And I'm flabbergasted as to how it almost never happens. This is a film though that even when you take away the plot itself, it's absurdly iconic. It feels like a movie that I've seen hundreds of times, even though I know I haven't. I've seen it maybe 3 or 4 times total. The last time that I saw and reviewed it in written format was back in 2017, 6 years ago. There's just something about it that just immediately feels special and different than anything that I've ever seen. From the really memorable adventures that they wind up on, from the junkyard scene to the leeches scene to either of the train scenes, the dead body scene, the scenes of young Kiefer Sutherland, and it's all etched in the confines of my mind. The togetherness, the camaraderie from the boys as well, next level. These weren't actors, at least it didn't feel like they were actors. It certainly didn't feel like strangers that met on a set one day and decided to make a movie. It felt like they were lifelong friends, real lifelong friends. It's hard to see this in young actors, especially back in the 80s. This almost never happens. Past that, there's also themes, of course, in the film of life and friendship, but ultimately death. Death shows up in this movie so many times. One of the boys has a brother that died years ago. And of course, there is the plot, the boy that got struck by a train and died. There's threats of murder, technically, hints of suicidal tendencies, and just discussions about death overall. And not only that, but under the surface, you have all these boys, and none of them have much to live for in general, other than each other. Their families either hate them, don't understand them, or just they're not present in general and wouldn't notice the boys if they were there or not. There's just so much going on in this film, character-wise, that's fantastic. And it really does help you sympathize with each character in a different way. In the film, the characters don't really know why they need to find this dead body so badly, and either does the audience, but the audience is also in it as well. The audience wants them to travel that long distance on foot, to have those adventures, and for it all to pay off by finding that boy at the end of the day. There's just something awarding about it in general that makes it worth the wait. This is a fantastic film through and through that, at least to me, is near perfect. It's not fully perfect on all fronts, but at the same time, I wouldn't say that there's anything about it that's specifically bad either. Just things that are normal. That's why when we take a look at my final score, you'll see that I gave Stand By Me an A letter grade, final overall score of 94%, 94 out of 100 possible stars, which is the same exact score that I gave it across the board from the unbiased to the biased. It's fantastic all around, but not 100%, obviously. But what do you guys think about Stand By Me? Are you a fan? Are you not a fan? Do you think that it's overhyped, maybe? What's your pick for the best coming-of-age film of all time? Let me know, and as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come up with my next review for this cinematic shuffle. And until then, peace out!